Hiatus Kaiyote is a bit of an unsung hero in the world of neo soul because I think they've been putting out some really good music and they don't get the praise they deserve, not amongst the music nerds anyway. Before I go any further, I have a bit of a cold, so my voice probably isn't as, energetic and as, I don't know, it's not the same. I can tell my voice is a bit so I apologise for this review coming across as, less energetic or anything like that. I am trying. I don't have COVID before anyone tries commenting because I've done like 6 tests to make sure and none of them were positive, so I definitely don't have COVID. But what I do have is a review that I've been so eager to get to that I've just been a bit busy to get to it, but it only came out a few days ago anyway, this album. But I've been eager, I've been wanting to review it because it's just so good. Hiatus Kaiyote with their new album here. Oh, I love it. Mood Valiant is the first album in quite some time from this band. They again are a bit of an unsung hero, I think. I think they've been putting out some really good music, but perhaps it's because it's been so long that they're just not in the circulation of discussion, because now that they put this new album out, I am seeing them get the props that they deserve, because this is just such a great listen. Oh my god, from start to finish, it just exuberates, it just gives off, it just has this feeling of positive energy that is so unmatched in music, and I am just here for it, man. They are so infectiously happy that I just couldn't imagine you putting this on and not putting, not it putting a smile on your face. That made no sense what I just said there, but I think my words are stumbling over each other. And if obviously you listen to this and get nothing out of it, then you're dead inside. There's nothing else to add to that. But of course, for me, this is just such a good listen. Oh man, this is like music, bro. This is real music, bro. The first 2 tracks highlight the vocal flexing, I think, of this singer. I think she just has such a weird and wacky voice that she's able to kind of like project it in ways that give off these strange inflections, and she has such like a commanding presence too, that it just really shines on every track. When it comes to like character and personality, Napalm has it. She's got the it factor. I feel like immediately, every time a song comes on, you just hear a vocalist that you wouldn't necessarily hear every day. And it's not like she's so weird and off kilter that, I think it would be off-putting. Like, I wouldn't go as far as that. But I think she's just weird enough and characterful enough to separate herself from anyone else out there, while also just bringing in some really well-developed vocal melodies. The album really kicks in though once you get to Chivalry is Not Dead, because those first 2 tracks are very short, but I think she does a great job at just kind of like reminding you of this band and reminding you of what they're like and her as a singer and a personality, because it's been 6 years. It's been 6 years, and I feel like they just wanted to set this album up immediately with just these great little whirlwindy vocal performances. And then you get this explosive 3rd track in Chivalry is Not Dead. And the expressiveness that's coming out of her voice every time the chorus hits is just absolutely delightful. This track just has such a great way of, demonstrating the boldness of this band. The instrumentals are really stellar, they're colourful, and they just ignite fire immediately. They're so good. All the Words We Don't Say highlights how they can just use a refrain and repeat the same idea or the same words over and over again, and do it to a point where it doesn't necessarily get boring or anything like that, but it's just such a great use of repetition. And I think, again, with the fact that it's so catchy and so like lightning, it's like lightning striking. It's just so bold and great. I think the track Rosewater highlights how creative the band is at putting together unique and different kinds of instrumental performances, because this one is much more of like a new jazz kind of thing here. The percussion is very tip-tappy and very well put together. I think it shows the diversity in what this band is able to do. It doesn't just pop up on this one track. I think some of their tracks managed to combine different ideas and styles together really well. But I think generally they do go for more of like a bold neo-soul kind of thing, and it's just great to hear a song like this sounding slightly different, and yet it's still just as enjoyable. I've got to say though, I think my favourite's got to be Get Sun. This is just an absolute blast of a song, like holy shit. It reminds me of the fact that we just really need a new Xenia Rubinos album, because that really like animated expressiveness just reminds me so much of her as an artist. We shan't be forgetting how good of a song Cherry Tree is by Xenia Rubinos, by the way. That is still one of my favourite songs of the 2010s. Absolutely adore that thing. But yeah, the sunny strings really come well. They just come out so well on this track. The positive energy that this track is giving off is so good. This might even be one of my favourite songs of the year, actually. I adore this one. I think they've nailed it here. This is such a good song. The song Red Room later in the album takes the album once again in a slightly different direction this time. They're good at doing this. It's very smoky. The delivery on this track definitely gives me more of like a blues vibe, mixed with more like vocal jazz type stuff. Honestly, it's more like an Alabama Shake song or like a solo Brittany Howard song than it is a Hiatus Kaiyote song. Really nice little left turn here, but I think again, they kill it. The vocal performance here is just so on point. Stone or Lavender is another track that really works this time because of how emotional her performance is on this one. Just the emphasis on things getting better and the way she's like, please believe me, someday it will get better. I just really like the way she sells it. I think it's a pretty cliche statement. It's not exactly the most original way to put a sentence like that, but I think it's so effective because of how she's singing, and just because it's simple doesn't make it bad anyway. It's just a really strong ballad, and the strings once again really bring this one home. A beautiful track, and really probably should have been the closer. I think this should have closed out the album. Sometimes I think you can kind of end your album on a bit of a generic cliche kind of way by doing it as like the ballad closer, but I think it actually would have just really nailed the ending for the album, because I think Blood and Marrow, as weird and as off-kilter it is, seriously, this is probably the weirdest vocal performance from Napalm on the whole thing. But and as good as and enjoyable this track is, it just doesn't feel like a closing statement. It just reminds me of how, you know, exciting they are as a band and as creative as they are and weird as they are, but it just kind of feels like the album should keep going. It's an odd closer, a good track. Just think I'd swap those two tracks around. Stone or Lavender last, Blood and Marrow before it. That's just how I feel anyway. People might not even agree with me on that, but it doesn't take away from the fact that this is still one of the best albums I've heard this year. This is one of my favourites. Easy 8 out of 10. It really is so good, and I'm just happy that they delivered. People got to remember, it's been 6 years since their last album, and they've topped that. I think this is better than Choose Your Weapon, and that was a really good album as well. So to come back and just remind the listeners that they are still so good at what they do in this kind of way, it is great, and I just really hope people don't sleep on this. I'm kind of worried that people will let this slip by, not really be interested because it's a name they don't recognize or anything like that, but my god, there's a lot of appeal to this album, and I think you should definitely check it out if you haven't already. And if this review is not enough for you to check it out, then my god, I don't know what is. So thank you for watching as always. Apologies for my voice. Hopefully this shifts away soon. Hopefully it wasn't too distracting either. Thank you for watching as always. Please subscribe if you have not already. Tell me your thoughts in the comments. Tell me what I should review next. And have a good day. Goodbye.